leave a message after the tone.
Hey Mom, Dad, and anyone who's listening to this. So, I wrote down everything I wanted to tell you guys in case I got your voicemail, which I did, so just make sure you listen to the whole message, okay? It's really important. I just want to be up straight with you guys. I don't want to lie. I want to tell you how I feel about what's happened to me the last couple of weeks, and I just want to let you guys know what's going to happen. So here's what I wrote down. My name is James Thompson, and I thought before I go I'd tell my side of the story from the beginning to prevent the label my family will be left with. So here it is. A couple years back, every morning I had the same routine. I'd wake up, take a shower, choose a jacket, then brush my teeth, in that order. Then I'd ride my bike to the little old desk job I really only stuck with because, well, it was easy. And I actually sort of liked what I did. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked for me. Now I did this every day minus weekends for about 3 years. Never once saw anything out of the ordinary. Not until one day I passed a recently abandoned house. Now there wasn't anything particularly interesting about this house other than a strange light moving around in the garage. At the time I figured it must have been the owners going back to get something they had forgot, so I left. I passed that same house over and over for the next 2 weeks, and every single one of those days, that same light remained. It was then that I figured it was something different, something strange, I don't know. I wanted to go look, but I talked myself out of it, so I continued to pass that house for several more weeks. I probably wouldn't have actually ever gone in to look, because at this point I now considered it normal. Maybe an electrical issue, maybe a homeless man found a place to stay, who knows. But today, the day I went to look at what the light was also the day I was let go from my job. In fact, if I wasn't let go, I probably wouldn't have ever actually even gone in, but I figured I probably won't be riding my bike past this house anymore, so I parked my bike in front of that old-looking house and waited for the light to start moving again. It didn't happen at first, maybe because it was still light out. But the moment it was night, at exactly 3 minutes past the hour, that light started up just as it always has. I immediately stood up and looked inside the window. I couldn't really see what it was, so I walked around to the backyard.
Hello?
I entered the garage through the back door.
Someone in here?
I was a little afraid at first, but my interest got the best of me.
Someone in here. I saw the light.
I tried turning the garage lights on,
light in
but
here.
for some reason the power must have been off. Just a second, you guys, I'm changing the page again.
Hello?
realized it wasn't someone, it was something. Something strange and different. Although it didn't keep me from ignoring my eyes and thinking it was still some sort of trick. I stood there for maybe a couple minutes, not knowing what to do. I probably would have continued to stand there if it didn't. If it didn't finally speak to me. At first, I was confused because the way it spoke wasn't something you heard, it was something you simply understood. And to this day, I can't wrap my mind around it, but it spoke to me, and the first thing it did was explain to me how it ended up trapped in here. The orb of light explained to me how it crashed on Earth and how it wasn't welcome. The man who previously owned this house trapped it in here out of fear of what it was. The orb of light continued to explain how happy it was to find me and how it's in my debt. I explained it owed me nothing and it's free to go. I didn't even ask it anything, which was strange because I had so many questions like where it came from and what's it like in space. But I felt compelled not to ask. I felt bad, like I should have come by sooner to check. Maybe it wouldn't have been trapped for so long. The orb got closer to me. It must have known how I felt because it told me once I see what it's seen, that I would no longer feel pity on it, and so it showed me everything it's ever witnessed or been a part of. In that moment, I saw the whole of all creation. I saw stars being born, planets with other life, and finally, a view of Earth as nothing more than a speck of dust. I saw wonders, things no man has ever seen, things out of fairy tales, books, and films. I saw anything and everything there was to see. And in a split second, I was back on Earth, standing in front of the orb of light. But now at this time, we were outside. I paused for a second to think about what I just experienced, and the only conclusion I can come up with was that I wish I'd been able to have seen more. And somehow the orb knew this because it offered to take me with it up into the stars to see the universe. But with one catch. It could only be a one-way trip. I'd have to leave my family and friends for what might be a hallucination. So I couldn't possibly say yes, not now anyway. So I asked the orb if it could give me 3 days to decide, and it agreed. Then the orb of light flew off into the night sky and became as bright as a star. In fact, maybe that's what it was all along. Honestly, at this point, I think I've been letting my overactive imagination get the best of me. It may not have been a star, but it sure was an opportunity. I just had to know if I was being crazy or not, so I went back inside to think, and well, now 3 days later, I feel no different. I want to see everything there is to see, and this is the only chance I've got. So, I wanted to say goodbye, but I don't think any of you guys would even be able to bear it. I know I wouldn't be able to. So, instead I just wanted to say I love you guys. Mom, Dad. Thank you. Thank you for everything you did for me and raising me. I love you guys, and that's really all I have to say. Goodbye.